good conversation and inspiring in general. This session is about school chess programs in different countries. And so we're taking now the more organizational perspective and about the challenges that chess in education is facing on a national or regional level. And our first speaker is the president of the Pakistan Chess Federation, Hanif Qureshi. And Hanif will talk to us about the challenges of a country that's relatively new when it comes to chess in schools. The whole chess federation in Pakistan has become from a not very active one into one of the most dynamic ones more recently, and I'm very excited to learn more about it. But please keep it to chess in schools. I think you can talk a lot about all these challenges you have, but please, chess in schools in Pakistan, a new chapter for you. Yeah.
Thank you, John, organizers. Thank you, EDU Commission, Jerry, everybody, all the colleagues from EDU. This is a great place to be. I'm so happy that I come here, and I'm sorry I'm not in the best of my form because I was knocked down with the fever yesterday, but I'll try to do my best. Pakistan is a country of, it's the 5th largest country on the planet. It's the youngest country in the world with 100 million plus youth. And the country has been quite far behind for so many years. Just to give you an idea that our last title of International Master goes back some 39 years. That's what our last title of International Master. That shows you how we were. And I'm very thankful to FIDE, my friend Dana, she's somewhere here, and all the management board people that last year, they came to Pakistan and they solved these issues with the government of Pakistan. And finally, we have a federation in place, which is trying to work. And this makes a difference because just in this 8 months' time, Pakistan, we have actually broken the record of last 20 years of chess, FIDE-rated chess organizing events. From 2000 to 2020, in 20 years, we had 102. In last 8 months, we have 107. So we are on the right path. And especially because chess in education is very close to my heart. I think this is where we have to move forward. And it's a great place to learn from all the experts of different spheres to understand how the chess in education work. We are relatively new. 8 months we just took charge. So we are trying to learn and how to move forward. Just to give you an example, in Lahore, we have, for example, about 5,500 schools. Second largest city of the country. And we need to understand how to access them, how to bring chess and education program, how to convince people to support us to bring our chess and education program into schools. So, here actually is Pakistan. By population, is 231 million people out there. And country is relatively new, young country. So if you look at the population, 64% of the population, about 148 million, are below 30 years. And further, you can see, for example, 29% is 15 to 29. Now we're talking about tens of millions of youth who, and especially we have a problem in the north of Pakistan and some borders next to Afghanistan, where we have this problem of religious extremism. And the kids are sort of, becoming a fuel of those organizations who are operating in those areas. And we are giving special attention to those areas. And this is why we started from the north, all the way north, and then we are going south. This country has great potential. Looking forward to cooperate with international organizations, with all the experts in chess and education to move forward. And I'm very happy that Jerry Nash is coming to Pakistan in June. That will definitely help us to advance our cause and convince the authorities to move forward. This is what we have done recently. We have signed an agreement, is on the way to sign with the Pakistan Alliance for Math and Science, and it's an NGO. And we are starting a program of chess and education in the federal capital. And then at a later stage, we will replicate this program nationwide. We are in talk with Provincial Ministry of Education of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. That's an area, a province about 42 million of population, which is just along the border of Afghanistan. And these are the areas where we want to focus, because we believe that chess can help a great deal to bring these kids, not to become the part of those sort of religious extremism, which is out there, and we know that, and we have suffered. My country has suffered for the last 40 years of that, and we have hundreds of thousands of deaths. So we want to use chess somehow to bring these kids back to, mainstream sports, friendship, and chess is a great tool to understand people, to create friendships. All this will be very useful for us. For the first time in the history, we have organized the National University Championship. In May, we are organizing National Women Championship. So we are going into schools and universities to bring chess and education program all over the place. This is an interesting slide. Some of you maybe know about Malala Yousafzai. She is a Nobel laureate from Pakistan. She's a activist of girl education, and she has formed this beautiful school in a very remote area of Pakistan in the north, where basically they have 650 girls who are, they're free education and everything, and they have over 400 girls who are learning chess. So it was very interesting for me. I was invited a few times, and I went there, and I was very happy to see their, enthusiasm, their excitement for chess. And chess for girls is very close to my heart also, because I think that the girls don't have enough opportunities in a country like Pakistan for various reasons, among which is, traditional reasons, some religious reason, some, whatever that is. So I would like to give them more opportunities to come in mainstream. And we are working on a program to bring special chess clubs for girls, which I am hoping to find partners and bring this program all over the country where girls can come forward and play chess. So this was great to be there. Okay, I think it's not the same one. We have one more on this. Sorry. The one I gave you. You already gave you that? Oh, I do apologize. Yeah, I think it was the one you were over there. Give you my. Okay, this is a very brief introduction of the Chess Federation of Pakistan. First time, ladies and gentlemen, in the history of Pakistan, we had just 10 days after. I took over 4th of June last year, and 15th of June we were in Maldives. And for the first time, we had 14 kids, Pakistani kids, were participating in West Asian Championship over there. That was our first initiative to bring our youth into a world competition. That's in Muscat. Pakistan was playing on the first board. That's how that looks like. We were in Dhaka recently, where we won silver medal. Chess Olympiad. This is an event we have organized last year, and this year we have 650 people have participated altogether, and a lot of youth, as you can see. 650 is a huge tournament to organize. It was a good learning for us as well. So a lot of youth is playing chess in Pakistan. This is the administrator of the city of Islamabad. Basically, we call Commissioner of Islamabad. He became the chief patron of Islamabad Chess Association, and he's helping us in chess in Pakistan. So the authorities are getting engaged with us at the government level, local level, and everything else. And we are doing our best. Last 8 months, we have participated in 8 international tournaments around the world. If you look at the history of Pakistan, you see about one international tournament every 3 to 4 years. In last 8 months, we had 8 international tournaments. So we are going everywhere. After 31 years, we have participated in World Junior Championship in Italy. 31 years of gap. So Pakistan is open for business. We are looking forward. CIE is a very important area for us. That's the national men and women team of Pakistan. Lot of chess is going around in Lincoln's College in Karachi. We have different organizations getting engaged with. And after all this, within 8 months, we are very honored that we get an award from the Continental Federation, an excellence award for chess. This is our first. We have never got one. So I'm very proud and very happy with this. This is a great encouragement for us. And I'm looking forward for, further progress in that. Thank you very much.
As you see, things can move very forward, very quickly, very fast if you have dynamic leaders. And another country where chess on a larger scale has moved immensely, where chess was, there were hardly any clubs 50, 40 years ago. And now we had a world champion. We had a chess Olympiad last year. I'm talking, of course, of India. And future world champions, several ones were possible. So our next speaker is from India. It's Abhijit Kunte from Mumbai, and he's here to talk about the chess and education, what is happening in India, to give us the big picture of what's happening in now one of the leading chess nations. And he's also involved with the All India Chess Federation. Abhijit, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and it's my pleasure to be first time in the London Chess Conference. And I must congratulate the organizers for having this wonderful gathering here. I think all the speakers were very nice, and it was an eye-opener for me as a grandmaster that how the chess and education works. Because what we are doing in India currently is chess in schools, where chess is introduced as a competitive sport in most of the schools. Of course, there are other benefits of playing chess which automatically gets passed on to the children. But the main focus area currently in India is about chess in schools. So, everyone asks, we have 81 grandmasters, 18 women grandmasters, 70,000 registered players, and currently India is ranked second in the world as per the FIDE list. And everyone asks, what is the therapy behind it? What is the secret? So I see these are the 5 pillars of Indian chess. So where the children starts, either with the family or with the school, where they start playing chess. The family system is very strong in India. We have a joint family culture. So there is people playing chess at your home. So you don't have to go to the clubs every time. And the society is there to support you. Like we have a strong support system for the players. If you know, many players have been supported, sponsored, or recruited in the jobs by the government companies or sponsored by the private individuals. So the society comes forward and makes sure that the requirement of the players when they are juniors are met and they get the best training facilities, best coaching facilities, traveling facilities. Then of course the federation plays a very important part because so we have district level tournaments, state level tournaments, national level tournaments, and all these tournaments are hosted by the federation. Most important thing is they are hosted from the ground level. They are clean events and they are organized very regularly. So the player has a clear path how to go forward. And of course the government support. So whenever you are in the Indian team, then you don't have to worry because all your expenses are taken care by the government when you are traveling abroad or you are training. So I think these 5 pillars are important for the chess growth in India. And when I came here, I was thinking about chess in education. And then I thought maybe same 5 people or same 5 pillars can be used for introducing chess in education in India. Because the schools, of course, are the main factor. The family support is required. The federation support is required. And the government and society where you have private schools and the government which runs majority of the schools in India. And luckily for us, we already have inroads with all these people, all these stakeholders. So I will not go to each and every project, but I will just go for a milestone projects of what chess in school has done in India. So I think this was the biggest project where our current Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, he was the Chief Minister then of Gujarat, and he introduced chess in every school in Gujarat in 2010. And there was a biggest exhibition match played with 20,000 children at the same time that time. And Vishwanathan Anand was the brand ambassador for the event. And it brought chess again to the limelight in India because he's a very aggressive personality. And with his active support, he was also there present for the Chess Olympiad inauguration. And when you get the support from the top, it's always easy to promote the things. Then, of course, the Mecca of chess in India, Tamil Nadu. So we have 81 grandmasters, but out of this 26 are from Tamil Nadu. So out of almost every 3, 1 is from Tamil Nadu. And in 2012, the Tamil Nadu government, so we have the state governments which handles the education department. So all the schools falls under the state governments. So we have 33 state governments. The Tamil Nadu introduced chess as a compulsory subject in 2012 in all the schools in Tamil Nadu. So these were the 2 big projects which were introduced by the state governments first time, where they introduced chess as a compulsory subject. So it was run in different parts where train the trainers program was done for the teachers, and then the teachers used to teach. Every school was provided with the kit, and a few of the top level players used to visit the schools very regularly. So this was in Maharashtra, state of Maharashtra, which is second best to Tamil Nadu, and I come from Maharashtra. And so we invited Kevin. Kevin was the CIS Commissioner of FIDE, Chairman of the FIDE Committee in 2013 to India to start the school instructor training programs. So I think this was the first school instructor seminar by FIDE, and it was held in India. And we started this coaching programs for the private schools basically. So the focus was on the private schools or the government schools, but not with the government support, but with the private initiative. So you can see the simultaneous displays paid by the lot of top players, and then we have visits of the grandmasters and women grandmasters in different schools to promote the CIS program. So luckily for us, the full ecosystem has always helped, like all the players, all the organizers, all the association members have always helped the CIS initiative. So if you see the current status of CIS, I feel these four people or 4 stakeholders are pushing CIS. First is the federation and the state associations. Second is private schools who are by themselves interested in chess and doing their own individual chess in school programs. Individual coaches who are chess players who are going to the schools, approaching the schools, convincing the schools and starting the programs. And then we have state governments who on a mass scale introducing chess in the curriculum. So these 4 programs are run separately, but with the motive of promotion of chess, introduction of chess as a sport. So first we come to All India Chess Federation. So Mr. Bharat Singh Chauhan introduced this CIS initiative in 2022 with $500,000 funding announced from the Federation. I think this was very important, and this was mainly used to create the 2-year curriculum for the CIS program. And then we had the massive coaching camps for the trainers, and from 2022 to 2023, the Federation has conducted the coaching camps, and we have about 1,000 certified trainers now who can go and teach chess in the schools. Another aspect was the national school championships. So we have district, state, and nationals. So we have about 25,000 children participating at the district and state level in the school championships, and then about 1,000, 1,500 children in the national level school championship. So this is a big motivator for the children to compete, because we have the national championship starting from under 7 and going till under 14. But so this program has given a big base for the Federation to approach different state governments, because these tournaments are happening in all the states, to approach the state government to make the chess as a compulsory subject. And we had a big success recently in Rajasthan, and the government of Rajasthan, on the same day, they introduced chess in 54,977 schools, reaching 3.6 million children. I think, and it was rolled out on the same day in all the schools. I think it was a humongous project, and I must congratulate Mr. Harsh, who is a member of the State Association of Rajasthan, for doing all the groundwork in implementing this project. This is just a start, and we will have to see what the results are. But I think it was a great initiative for, after this Gujarat and Tamil Nadu, this was the third state which went on such a mass scale. This is just a news cutting, when the minister is announcing the program. So another government got involved with this. This is this state government of Bihar, where they are going to start the CIS program as a pilot project in 600 schools. And hopefully we will have it started from the June. So the initial plan is to have the trainers program for all the children, and then introduce it in every taluka place. This individual coaches, I think this is a very important factor, because at grassroots level, these people, the chess players who have taken the efforts to use their chess playing skills to reach out to the schools and start the chess programs. So this is a completely unorganized sector where they are going teaching. They are not under the umbrella of anyone, but it has been a great motivator for the children who are from the small villages. India is a big country, and we have about 15 lakh schools. So you can understand. So every person doing whatever effort always adds to the participation and overall improvement of chess. So I will just show you some small video. So just control and click. Just control and click. Not this.
So robotics, under the robotics video, I do apologise.
Get ready for yes, it is just that you are but why they will not going to school.
So what I want to show is that what we are talking about chess in education, the school level, the teachers are taking initiative to make it interesting for the children. But what I like is the participation of parents, their siblings and the children using chessboard for a drama basically right now. And so there are so many activities like this which have been happening, but which are not exactly under the ambit or umbrella of any organized association. And I will just give you the last previous one. And this is also video. Next one. So, yeah, video. So, what is the success story of the CIS program for the chess playing fraternity? I think.
Hi, this is Harshit Raja, and I'm a chess grandmaster. I started playing chess at the age of 7 when I was first introduced to chess at the Chess in School program at Symbiosis University. Thanks to this Chess in School program, I went on to become a grandmaster and I'm a professional chess player now.
So he is currently in University of Missouri, I think, and he is from my city, and he started chess because of the CIS program run in one of the private schools in Pune. But how it can be introduced and how the talent can be identified from such programs. Now we come to the chess in education. I think what are the opportunities? So currently, all the projects in India are run as a chess, as a sporting sport and not as a educational projects. But we have 15 lakh schools, you know, where we can use this. And most important, what I find is, since we have inroads to all these schools, it's very easy to again approach them to introduce chess as an educational tool for all the children. So there are more than 15 lakh schools in India. And I feel that with the curriculum which the team developing, chess in education team developing, I feel this can become a game changer for us to get a new approach or new dimension of introducing chess in India. So I look forward for the association, and I'm very happy that the India has progressed, because when I started playing chess, we used to finish 40th and 50th in the World Championships, but now our players are doing extremely well. And one factor which I must mention, the factor of Vishayanand, it has played a big role, because we had a role model in India who was a world champion 5 times, and that helped us to get that popularity or the success story which every child wanted to follow. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Abhijit. And we are moving on. Now we are moving to Europe, and we have with us Marta Amigó, and she's from the Catalan Chess Federation. Catalonia is still a part of Spain, but it's quite a success story when it comes to chess in education. They have quite a good tradition of chess in education, not just chess in schools, not competitive chess, really. And Marta is a teacher who has been working with the Federation for 12 years, and she's teaching virtually all subjects, so her background is in music. Please, Marta, come and tell us about what are you doing currently, and what are the challenges at the moment in Catalonia?
Thank you. Thank you, Stefan. It's for me a pleasure to be here today to present our project. and I will explain you what we are doing in Catalonia. We have a project that pretends to introduce chess in the schools as an educational tool. The name of the project is Lejean-Anušca, Chess in School, and this project is supported by the Catalan Chess Federation for one hand, and the Educational Department of the Government of Catalonia for the other part. Then I will explain it. As I say, our project has the objective to use chess as an educational tool, like a transversal and interdisciplinary tool, doing chess and activities connecting chess and maths, language, values, etc. We have a motto that is, it can be transferred in our moments of our daily life. The motto is: I observe, I think, and I play. I act, definitely. As I say, in this project, supported by two institutions, the Department of Education of the Government of Catalonia and Catalan Chess Federation, have 3 universities that are involved in the project and are participating doing research. Universitat of Girona, Universitat of Lleida, and Universitat Rovira i Virgili from Tarragona. We started 11 years ago. This is the 12th course. And a very important part in our project is to train the teachers, because we consider that the best way to introduce chess in the schools is with the teachers who are working in the schools, not external chess trainers, because in all the schools there are teachers who are working in the school. Then it's easy to organize trainings for these teachers, and is a fast way to arrive in all the schools that they are interested to use chess as an educational tool. We say that it's never too late to learn, and you can see these teachers playing and laughing like children. They are doing the same activities, shake hands and playing, learning to move the pieces. They don't need to be previous knowledge about chess. Then in this training, is free for the participants, because the government pay the chess trainers. The chess trainers used to be teachers with knowledge about chess. Then we combined the two parts, and all of these teachers have a previous experience teaching chess with children, and at the same time, these teachers have a lot of pedagogical and psychological or about the curricular subjects. They have all the knowledge that need to do it. This is the global evaluation of the training courses. You can see that the satisfaction of the teachers is very high. There are 5 levels, and the big part of the evaluation is level 4 and 5. The major part of this, and these results are from the past course, where 542 teachers took part in this training. This training we are organized in three levels globally. Chess 1 initiation chess too deep in the chess game, and chess 3 consolidation. But each one of these levels is 20 hours, face-to-face, combining face-to-face and online. Then teachers, when finish the third level, if they want, they can choose to do other level that they propose, because they said, oh, and now we don't receive more classes. We need to share. We need to explain to other teachers our experience, and it's a motivation for them. Then we decided to organize next course called More Chess, and this course is 15 hours, and in this course we organize meetings, for example, with schools that in the project, or exchange, make resources, etc. Is to be connected in the time. It's very positive. Last year, like I said, more than 500 teachers took part in all this formation. We have a digital platform that we created during the COVID pandemic, and we are using it in the present, because is positive. We use different materials, very practical materials in the sessions face to face, and we have presentations with a theoretical part, and we have the platform to play during the session, the online sessions, or some materials in the platform of the educational department, explaining methodologies, doing reflections, strategies, etc. Then we organize pupil meetings, because it's a very beautiful experience. In these meetings, the pupils can play, can do some activities, I don't know how is in English the word, games, for example, make a chessboard, or put together half chessboard with positions to do checkmate, for example, and play, of course. You can see the photo. And in these meetings, we want to create reference in the classroom to chess players, women and men. And sometimes one of them go to the meeting. The pupils can interview them. They read the biography in the school, and they can ask what they want. And in the school, what we work are very different kinds of activities. For example, we learn to think. We verbalize a lot what you are thinking in front of a chess position, the ideas of different pupils, different ways to arrive in a place or to do something in the chessboard. Linguistic activities, mathematical activities, psychomotricity, geography, STEAM. For example, this chess game was designed by pupils of secondary school. They printed with a 3D machine, for example, making hypotheses, making decisions and accepting the consequences, the values, shake hands, co-education, because in Catalonia, in the chess clubs or extracurricular chess classes, there are more, or the biggest part is boys, not girls. Then it's necessary to visualize girls who are playing chess, and artistic education, etc., etc. And it's all. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Marta.
Thank you.
And you might be wondering what is happening in England currently. And we have from CSC, one of the sponsors of this conference with us, Matt Piper, is London coordinator, but also is coordinating a lot of activities and the projects and innovations that are going on. So he's sharing with us how CSC is doing now. And there's a lot of new things happening because we had the pandemic and that changed quite a lot. Matt, please.
Thank you.
Let us in.
Thank you, Stefan, and thank you, John, as well, for the opportunity to talk today. I wanted to give you an overview, really, of the current state of affairs in chess in schools. As you say, the pandemic has necessitated a lot of changes, and there's some new activities as well. And then I've got some personal thoughts on why we deliver chess in schools and the way that we deliver that, both connected to maths and connected to STEM subjects, but also some of the wider benefits of chess. If I could start by taking a slight diversion away from education a bit and talking about some of our community projects. There are very close links between what we do in the community and what we do in schools as well, and many of these projects do have an educational focus as well. If I start with libraries, that was something that was really hard hit by COVID. Lots of our library clubs closed, the libraries themselves closed. There haven't been many funding opportunities actually for chess to be held in libraries, to actually money to run the clubs. But we are seeing quite a strong bounce back in that now. We opened a new library club in one of my areas on Friday. We've got another one opening just after Easter and 2 more next term. And Dan, our library coordinator, is aware that there are many other libraries opening around the country. And the library clubs are really important to us because very often they allow us to identify where chess is taking part in schools, which children are coming along, which schools they're from, and therefore give us a lead into getting chess back into those schools as well. Hospitals is something we work in wherever we can. Just down the road from here is St Thomas's Hospital, and we now have a tutor. Actually, Omar over here has been going in every Wednesday to run lessons in that school, either to groups of children who are mainly to groups of children who are sort of long term in hospital. And there's a school there, and Omar takes several groups of them and teaches them chess. We've also at that hospital. We've trained every single member of staff in how to teach chess as well, to help support Omar and also to teach chess at the bedside as well. And going back to a question that was asked this morning about the engagement of adults and a sort of a resistance to or a concern that they might not be able to teach chess or learn chess. When I went in there to deliver that course, there were many of the teachers there who felt they knew nothing about chess, that chess was a scary game that they'd never managed to get to grips with. By the end of the session, and mainly because we use these mini games that breaks the game down into manageable bites, all of them came up to me and said they really enjoyed it and we're going to go home and play chess with their children and families at home as well. So a lot depends on the way you teach it, I think, and breaking chess down into these individual mini games is a real help in that regard. We did a project last year with refugees. There were about 800 refugees from Afghanistan who are homed in hotels in the city of London. Very few green spaces around there, very little for them to do. It's not really a big residential area. And we were invited in to run chess lessons for them. We did in total over 250 hours worth of tuition over about 30 weeks there. A lot of that really these were mainly young children who spoke very little English, who were spending every day of the week in English primary schools. So a lot of that was actually just trying to improve their English and to just talk to them, maybe using the chess pieces to help them count to 5 in English. It really was at that kind of level, but it was a lot of fun and a really good project to be involved in. Omar as well has been involved in a project we started in Southwark where we're working with young offenders there, and to see somebody who struggles with the classroom come in, take some time out of their half term to come and learn chess with Omar was really quite impressive. And we've been commissioned to do some more work there in future holidays as well. Projects with older people continue. We've been working with a group in Westminster where some older people can come along to a community centre. They can have a chess lesson. They can have a free lunch. And our tutor there is actually a former IT consultant, and he offers some IT advice after lunch as well. Okay, our older people sessions are mainly about tackling social isolation. Our work in prisons continues. There was a very successful, simultaneous that we did in Wandsworth Prison on Friday. So that's work that's growing as well. And I mentioned our training courses. We've been running training courses around the country, particularly after COVID. We've had the need to attract new tutors to the charity, but we also offer free training to school teachers as well. We so far run 10 this academic year, and we've got another 2 coming up in April. And it would be remiss of me not to mention ChessFest. If there's anybody who's not aware of ChessFest, it's a big festival of chess that happens in July now. We start off with some school events where we invite schools around the country to come down for a day of chess lessons and chess activities, and then culminates with a big celebration of chess in Trafalgar Square. The first year, that was 2021, we had 6,000 attendees. Last year we had 10,000 people. And to see 10,000 people in one place playing chess was, as someone who's grown up with playing a game that hasn't always been the coolest game on the planet, to see that many people there enjoying chess and playing chess was really special. And it's billed as activities that are free, family friendly and fun as well. So if you are in London on July the 16th, please come and join us for that. Our schools programme, we're currently teaching chess in 250 schools around the country. That's England and parts of Wales. In total, that means there are about 20,000 children involved in our programme. What we really try and do, we do run typical after-school chess clubs. We really like to be in the classroom during curriculum time, teaching every child. As a charity, we've got a big focus on inclusivity, on making sure everybody has access to the benefits of chess. And the best way to do that is to be there with full classes of children. That means that girls play just as well as boys, and it also means that we can include children with various different special needs who are in mainstream schools. A lot of our work currently takes place in primary schools, but interesting, in the last 6 months to a year, we've seen a big surge of interest from secondary schools, often driven by the pupils themselves. Pupils wanting to learn chess or wanting to set up chess clubs, and that's a big area of expansion for us at the moment. We do have, as a charity, a big focus on the more deprived areas in the country, the areas with the highest socioeconomic deprivation. Roughly a third of the children in our programme are in receipt of pupil premium. That means the schools get extra funding to spend on those children because they have disadvantaged backgrounds, and that will remain an important strand of what we do as a charity. In addition to this, somebody was asking earlier about how schools can get involved in chess. We will send free sets and offer free training to any state school in the country that wants it, and we've supported over 1,500 schools that way. We're currently, I think we're sending out about 10 of those starter chess packs of free chess sets and workbooks, our curriculum, about 10 sets of those a week at the moment. So now I wanted to move on a bit to talk about why we're in this number of schools, because if we were just there to promote chess, then I don't think many head teachers would spare us the time. Curriculum time is very valuable. It's packed with maths and English, other subjects, music lessons as well. But the reason that head teachers want us in is that they do feel there are spin-off benefits to learning chess. My own background is in maths and mathematical physics, so it's something that I feel very strongly about, that there's plenty of maths in chess. The way I tend to see it in terms of the way we deliver chess through our curriculum is that there's the direct maths content. So a very early question we ask would be, how many squares on a chessboard? And it's very interesting to see the difference in approach of the children, some of whom are counting 1, 2, 3, never quite getting to 64, and the other children who inherently know it's 8 times 8. But then there's other numeracy as well. We look at chess maths. We have a whole lesson on chess maths, adding up the value of pieces, making sure the children are constantly aware of how many points they're ahead on the chessboard. There's coordinates, and we teach coordinates in the very first lesson in our curriculum, but we've also recently introduced chess notation to our curriculum as well, which is proving very popular with teachers. It tends to lead to a quieter classroom for a start. It allows you as a chess teacher to replay some of the games, practices the children handwriting, and it gives the children who aren't so keen on chess something to really focus on as well, decoding their games and putting them down on paper. There's plenty of geometry in our curriculum. It might be as simple as talking about orthogonality, as John mentioned earlier, or diagonal lines, but also in the knight move. I tend to teach the knight move by cutting out an L-shaped piece of paper, and then you can talk about the purple line being rotated around the blue line, or the red line being reflected around to the orange line. So just introducing the language of primary school geometry into our lessons to help support the children's learning elsewhere. Some of the endgame techniques, the 2-rook checkmate or the king and rook against king, we've sort of rewritten in our curriculum as quite explicit algorithms to help the children to understand those techniques better. And there are also some very simple proofs, simple mathematical proofs in our curriculum as well. One is how do you get a knight from square A1 to H8? Can you do that in 4 moves? Most children understand that the knight can't reach there in 4 moves. Can you do it in 6 moves? They can eventually work out that you can do it in 6 moves. And then you can ask the question, can you do it in 5 moves? And proving that you can't relies on the children eventually working out that on the odd numbered moves, the knight's on a white square. So on the 5th move, it can't possibly be on H8. And that's one of the first mathematical proofs that the children really experience at primary school in the UK. And then as well as these areas where we directly deliver maths through the curriculum, there are also the indirect benefits that can be, to my mind, very beneficial to maths and also to STEM subjects in general. There's logical thought, problem solving, decision making, visualization. We'll often set up puzzles where a bishop, for example, can capture several pawns and has to work its way around the chessboard, capturing several pawns. The children aren't allowed to move the pieces. They have to try and visualize that before actually trying it out on the board. And concentration skills. And I know that across London, lots of local authorities are getting increasing referrals for children who are struggling with attention spans. That's a big problem in schools in the UK, certainly a huge rise in ADHD. And chess can certainly help with improving that in the classroom. And the beauty of all of this is that it's not delivered theoretically at the front of the classroom. Most of this, the children are learning by playing. They're not even realizing they're learning, but it's delivering that through the game of chess. Much that I love maths, I would also like to touch very briefly on some of the wider benefits of chess. This is a photo from a tournament we ran about 10 or 12 days ago. It's Redriff Primary, which is a primary school in Rotherhithe in London. And those of you who, it was held in the City of London. Those of you who know London well will know that Rotherhithe is just a couple of miles away from the City of London, but in many other ways is a world away from the City of London itself. It was held at the Guildhall, which is a very sort of grand part in the heart of the management of the financial district of London. This primary school went along there. They were playing games against not only other primary schools, but also against secondary school children. We even had a year 3 child play a year 13 child at one stage, so 10 years difference between their age groups. And as you can see, the children all went home with smiles on their faces, with some medals around their necks. They went home with a feeling of self-confidence and self-esteem, and also, I think, of aspiration and ambition for chess, but also for their wider lives as well. So it's a real eye-opener for them, but a great experience. There are a couple of reports written on this kind of thing, of the importance of extracurricular activities to children, particularly to children from disadvantaged backgrounds. And I encourage everybody to look up these reports. There are some links here, and there are also links on the Chess in Schools website. But they show how extracurricular activities such as chess can improve attendance, can increase the number of children who carry on beyond statutory education into further education, extend social networks. As I said, they can improve self-esteem as well. And these are all soft skills and attributes that are really valued by employers. So chess can not only help with the math side of things, it can also benefit children in many other ways. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Do we have anything? Oh, yeah. Mădălina, we have one question. Alexis, which of the 2 presentations will it be? Because we have 2 files.
All right. Let's just start with
The fifth speaker session will again have the perspective of the British Federation. Is from the Romanian Chess Federation, Mădălina, and his also background is in education. So recently she's not been working as a teacher, but she's fully focusing on organizing chess in education in Romania. And she's also a member of the Commission of Chess and Education in the European Chess Union, right? And you will talk about this a little bit too. So please go ahead.
I have 17 minutes. Oh, yeah, that should be enough. Thank you. So, hi everyone. My name is Lejean-Anușca Mădălina-Maria. I'm here representing ECO Chess Union, the Educational Commission. Don't look at that only. And there are a lot of things to say about our activity, our last activity. But we had before many members talking about this. And what I would say, especially that we are very, very sorry that Jasper Hall is not here with us. I'm sure everyone feels that. I will talk a little bit about Education through Chess, the Romanian Chess project that I started to work for the Romanian Chess Federation in January last year. So we are just at the beginning, but I hope you will enjoy the presentation. So I will talk a little bit about the context, the two projects that we will have, our partners, methodology, and results. So just used the chess pieces for that, because everything that I do looks like this. So even if I'm working with kids, with teachers, on social media, by the way, follow the European Chess Union the Educational Commission on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, because we are trying to post daily. And I feel like teachers love that also. So they feel like we are really preparing them for their courses. I will start about the context and the thing that we are prepared to have these results this year, during this year. So that's what we want to have at the end of the year. And for that, I can say that we already have a very beautiful team of people working, and that we have the full support of course, Romanian Chess Federation, obviously, with all the people that are leading those projects, especially Vlad Ardeleanu, the president of Romanian Chess Federation. And we have the support of the Romanian Ministry of Education. And we are directly working with them to prepare those courses for teachers, because this was the first step that we needed to prepare. I would say also that our projects, it's part of the plan of Romanian Chess Federation, the strategy of developing chess in Romania, and that we are just at the beginning of the pyramid. Of course, the Romanian Chess Federation has many projects that follow also the performance in chess, but our project has objective to use chess as a tool in education. So for this part, for the educational project, we have two steps. The first step is the Train the Trainer program. And what I would say about that is that it was mandatory for us to use the chess optional in schools. And also very important is that maybe you can think that it was a short time that we could offer all this, because I just told you I started at the beginning of the last year, but there were a lot of actions before also with chess tournaments and also courses for teachers, but they were not approved by the Ministry of Education. So this is the huge step that we are happy to present you right now. And the second step, it's School Chess United program. And I want to talk a little bit more lately because right now I just want to say that I think this is a very important part of the project because we think that feedback it's very important at the end of the program each year. Getting like that. The program Education Through Chess, it's right in this moment, especially for the pedagogues who are active right now in primary school. And this is the planning for the course, 50 hours of training for the teachers. And you can see here the plan of the course, but I would mention that 20 hours are with a teacher. The trainer is even a chess player with pedagogical studies, or maybe a teacher who had experience with chess lately. So that's how we prepared the team. We started with 20 people that are already in this program. And if we will start to work with preschoolers, for example, soon, we will have a bigger team of teachers who will train teachers. For the curriculum, we have 5 years. This is the first important information for primary school. And the small pawn, it's the preschool. So we already think at that also. In the first years, we have a lot of mini games. So it's important to know that I was following all the projects that everyone was presenting lately in all the conferences, and I took elements of those projects and I use in the program. And to organize all the nation, I used the Bloom's Anderson's taxonomy of learning. And that's helping us to have a feedback because I just prepare some objectives for each year. You see, I have only also for the preschool some objectives, and the main idea of those objectives is to offer to the kids a sort of self-testing. Okay, I will not use the word test because I don't know. I know that is not suitable, but that's the idea that they can reach a link on the internet and they can see at what level they are in the program. And those informations will be not public. So just the kid can see where he is. And like this, I think he can understand if he's going forward, because at the beginning he knows he will be here and then here and then here and so on. That's the main idea. So I want to avoid the competition between the kids and to have this self-competition. That's what we are trying. And here we continue with School Chess United. And why I think this will be a very important fit for our project is because they have the same idea. So they don't have prizes during those competitions, and they want to explain the fact that every single kid in the classroom is important. So for us, it's important here to have all the kids in a classroom. It doesn't matter if he's very good at chess or if this is not his, let's say, favorite activity, because we are different and we need to prepare for that. We need to give everyone the opportunity to be happy with the activity. That's what I think. So this was one of my first experience when I started to work for the program, because I was advised by Jesper Hall and Carl Frederick. And the best experience was participating at this competition. So just the explanation weren't enough, but I cannot say the sentiment that I had seeing a full class with kids from each class, had every single kid from that classroom, if he was not sick, of course, and they were all happy. Even that they lost the game, they were happy, and teachers were enthusiastic, and everyone was awesome. So at that moment, I was sure that that's the system that we will use in Romania. But important, we adapted the system a little bit, and I talk with Jesper a lot about this because at that moment we were just at the beginning, and we understood that in Romania the train the teacher program, it was very, very important. So you will see, just go and check the program. You will see that's a little bit different in Romania, but that's another important thing to understand, that every program that we are suggesting here can be adapted on the needs that you have in your country. Okay, this is a picture from the tournament. So that's in Sweden in 2017. And one more thing, I still have time. Yes. Okay, great. So during the lessons, I advise teachers to use the theory of multiple intelligence. At my master's degree, I learned about this theory, and I was very happy, because I really think that it's very important to use this in school. And though I saw books about this, at that moment, at my master's degree, one of the teachers asked me, why you don't want to use this in chess? And I was like, it's a great idea. So that's what I used. And if you don't know about this, Howard Gardner is telling us that every person has special abilities, but we just need to understand them and which is the direction. You know, there's a quote very popular: if you put a fish to climb a tree, he will feel like he's not good in his life, but that's not normal, right? I guess. Do you think it's normal? Okay. So who thinks he was very good at math? Please, a hand up. At school, at math. Yes, until the 4th grade also. Then I had a teacher. Whatever. Who think he was so good in sport? Okay. Okay, great. Thank you. In art, maybe. Okay. So I was waiting for many hands up. At music. Wow, great. Maybe we can talk later about that. So that's the idea. Maybe there are kids who feel that they are not good at math, at chess, at this area, but they might be great to tell a story, or to sing a song, or to make a draw with a story. We saw yesterday many examples about that. But funny thing is that I'm trying during those lessons to offer activities where we use chess, but we use all the types of intelligence. So like that, all the kids will feel that they are important during the chess lesson, and chess will help them after. So I don't think you want me to sing right now because there are many windows here, and I think that will be a little bit expensive, but during the classroom, doing that, and even that my voice is not perfect, trust me, they are happy. They are happy and they start to sing. Some of them, they ask me, you don't have on the phone, you can put it on the phone maybe. Yes, that's a good idea. And I have rap songs, I have, if you're happy and something like that, not the same. But the idea is that I just try to change the activities, and I choose the one that works for that classroom. So even if I'm teaching the whole week, maybe I will not have 2 or 3 classrooms with the same lesson, but not the same methodology. So we are learning all the time from all the projects, like I was saying at the beginning. So you can see in that picture from a chess camp when we were playing run chess. Did you ever play run chess? It's fun. You must try it. We can try a chess camp together. That's the music. That's the collaboration with the Fédération Française de Chess French Federation. And about the French Federation, we are also working with the Social Commission. That's for ECU and for the Romanian Chess Federation. With we hope a lot of beautiful projects in the future. What's interesting here, I used all the art craft ideas for chess. You can see a picture, and I think I forgot chassis. I have a doll like this, teaching chess to kids. And by the way, those drawings are made specially for the program by a friend. And I think that's all. I think I covered everything. Oh, and one more thing about the feedback. So we have feedback with the links, feedback with School Chess United, and feedback with some special programs for the teachers. This is still work in progress, but I'm very happy to show you those examples of teachers who sent us activities that they did after just 2 meetings with us, without asking them. So I'm very proud of that. Thank you very much. Okay, I forgot about this one. Just want to add that those courses are free, accredited by the Ministry of Education. We offer a collaboration contract with schools and free chess sets for those who want to use chess in schools. We will have meetings like ECU has in this moment with the teachers, and the class competition, the Chess United, and we want to promote the team spirit in classroom, because we think that this is very, very important, equality and team spirit. And that's it. Yeah.
Thank you. And as you saw, there was also this element of learning from one another, from one country from another, and using also the ECU in this case. So please, since we are running a little bit late, and this last coffee break is maybe for some of you the last chance to speak to one another. Don't want to cut into this, but encourage you to ask questions to all our speakers in this session in the coffee break. And we see you back here at 2:45 for the final session. Enjoy the conversation. session of the Chess and STEM conference, and we have a few speakers, and the focus is now on chess and research. And we have as the first presenter Mark Nowacki, and Mark has quite a colorful background. He is American, but he's been mainly living in Singapore and working in Singapore for decades now, for 30 years. And he's a marine biologist, a physicist, computer scientist, right? Computer scientist and philosopher. That's just the academic background. He's been working in academia and as an advisor for a lot of time. And he founded this company, Logic Mills, together with his wife, to inform education policy. And I think they've been consulting with different countries on their education policies over the years. And so it happened that I've been told by himself that maybe a year or so back, he contacted the World Chess Federation, FIDE, because what they are doing at Logic Mills is they are using games. So they have a background in using games to in education and also to inform education policy. And so, well, he's here now as the head of this new research work group for FIDE Edu. Mark, we are very excited to hear your ideas of what research can do for chess and education.
Thank you, very kind. Thank you. All right, so I don't have a good side, so I shan't worry about it. In any case, it's really a pleasure to be here and to be able to share a research proposal with everyone here, and that also goes out to the good folks who are online joining us at this time. Just a quick thing. Logic Mills, yeah, we basically use games to teach. A little known fact is that all of the students who represent Singapore on the PISA test, the Program of International Student Assessment, go through some version of my program. Okay, and we use lots of games. Like in the last 10, 12 years, I've had to create or repurpose somewhere between 800 and 1,000 board games. So, right, it's all ages from wee little ones through PhD students. Imagine a course where every class is a different game. So here's the thing. What I'd like to do is talk to you about this interesting problem that we all have, okay? Although not all of us know about it. But here I want to identify a pain point for education, come up with, well, basically some steps to help improve matters, to alleviate the situation, and while doing so, help drive the demand for educational chess. And do it in a way which is really dead simple, so anybody can do this. So, as I was saying, basically, this is our set of objectives. I want to, with collaboration of everybody here, take a snapshot of what the world looks like with regards to skills, specifically 21st century skills, things like critical thinking, creativity, communication, collaboration, whichever way you wish to divide up the 21st century skills, also called employability skills. So what we want to do is we want to take a snapshot of what the world looks like after COVID. And not to anticipate too much, it's going to be a bit of a bloodbath. Okay, I can just predict that right now, and I'll explain why in a moment. And furthermore, because we're also going to be collecting not just data using a particular measurement instrument called MIRME, M-I-R-M-E, mirror me. It's a reflection of the self. It's obviously a marketing ploy. If it were up to me, I would have called it Bob. But anyways, the idea is that using this validated psychometric assessment, plus some questions about background in chess, we hope to uncover a chess effect. By which I mean, we expect to see that students who have been systematically introduced to educational chess in particular, but sport chess even in general, will be more resilient after COVID than those who are not similarly exposed. So how do we get there? Well, I need to talk a little bit about history. It doesn't look it, but I've been jumping up and down continuously since about 2019. Here's the thing. What we see for COVID follows a pattern that has already been studied extensively and is very well known for the last 30 years of educational research. Basically, what happens is this. We know what occurs after a natural disaster. We know what happens after a natural disaster. And, and we've studied this, like, there are studies after a plague of locusts. There are studies for what happens after floods and typhoons and what have you. But probably the most rich example is derived from the following tragic occurrence, which was, you're probably all too young to remember this, but in 2005, there was a truly terrible earthquake in the Pakistan-administered portion of Kashmir. I think it's Azad Kashmir. And about 80,000 people died. Almost a quarter of them were children, because unfortunately it happened during the day and the school buildings collapsed on the kids. It's really bad stuff. So the RISE Education Group, R-I-S-E, out of Oxford University, but funded by, well, obviously Oxford gets its paws in there, but the UK government, the Australian government, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the usual suspects, right? 4 years after that earthquake, RISE sent people back and they collected, 4 years later, tons of data, tons, right? And overall, the story was very heartening because people had jobs again, houses were rebuilt, access to critical infrastructure and medical care on average was improved. Basically, lots and lots of socioeconomic indicators, including things like nutrition of children and all this, had improved, which is great and shows a lot about the resilience of the people, okay, who were so affected during the tragedy. But there was one problem, and that is 4 years later, what do we see? Well, earthquakes are funny things. Because you could have one village right over here, which is absolutely devastated, and then you could have another village right next to it, which really is not affected at all. So it's quite plausible to set direct peer-to-peer comparisons. Okay, you can see what's going to happen. Now, what's the result? Well, basically, 4 years after that earthquake, it turns out that the students from the affected areas were, on average, 1.5 to 2 years behind their peers academically. 1.5 to 2 years. Now, there's a number of other things that come out with this. Of course, if you just take that learning deficit and project it into the future, what do you get? You actually will see that over the course of a lifetime, those individuals will experience a 15% drop in their lifetime earnings. Okay? So it's a human tragedy, educational tragedy, even an economic tragedy. Furthermore, what else do we see from this terrible thing? Well, a few interesting bits. The length of time on average that students were out of school was 14 weeks, 1-4. Basically a semester. You think about that, right? A semester. You know, and you can actually go and figure out how much of that learning deficit is caused by just missing school due to the obvious school closures after the tragedy, right? So how much of it? It turns out that of those 1.5 to 2 years, 10% is attributable to those 14 weeks of missed school. 90% of the damage done to those children happened after they went back to school. Now, why? What happened? Well, let me see. I'll tell you the rough story here, and you can get a sense. Basically, just as we would expect, the teachers, the administrators, and so on said, all right, first, let us help our students through this terrible tragedy, which makes sense. And then, after we get through that trying time, let us then go out and catch them up. Now, this should sound familiar, okay? I'll draw the parallel in a second, but this should sound familiar. Because what does catch them up mean? Catch them up means one covers more material in less time. The fancy word for that is cramming. Now, if you just consider your sort of bell curve of student abilities, sort of like that, what you find is that right in the middle, that big chunk of the bell, those are your average students. And the pacing of a curriculum is aimed at them, right? So what happens when you start playing catch-up is all of those students who were okay with the pacing of instruction beforehand, they went worse. They started struggling. And then for the poor kids down on the tail over here, you know, the thing for them is that they were already struggling with the pace of the curriculum as it existed already before the earthquake. Now they just fell right off the cliff. Right? Finally, what about the extremes? What about the other side? That other little tail for the more gifted and talented kids. Well, here's what happened for them. They had other issues, but by and large, they had no real difficulty keeping up with the curriculum. So they were fine. But think of what you've done. You've basically taken your curve and shifted it in the wrong direction, right? What this creates is a vicious cycle where learning deficits compound over time. They compound. And that's what we saw in Azad Kashmir. What do we hear post-COVID? Well, I've talked to a few thousand teachers, and what do I hear? I hear this. I hear, oh, well, we have to just get our kids through COVID. It's a difficult time. It's a natural disaster. Let's get rid of this problem. And then when they go back to school, we'll get them caught up. Does that sound familiar? Yeah? No, it doesn't work like that. We have 30 years of wonderful research showing that doesn't work. It doesn't matter how much educational policymakers might wish the contrary, that harms children. So, unfortunately, I think we're at a stage now where we have to start proving that there is an issue. Well, I've been busy doing that. Basically, there are two studies here that I'm going to summarize very quickly, okay? Actually, two separate studies, but they're undertaken with the assistance of people who are in, actually, like Tamara over here, and a good colleague Vahan and so on in the research commission, what we find is this. I had pre-COVID samples using the MIRMI psychometric assessment for, let us say, a large South Asian country, the largest. Okay? I'm just being polite here because there's other things going on, but you'll see. So, what do we find? Well, it turns out that I have pre, and then I went and we did a post sample using the MIRMI data again. Well, it turns out that, first of all, the pre-sample, which is from kids younger than the post-COVID sample, the younger kids significantly outperformed in any metric you look at the post-COVID sample kids. So the younger ones outperform the older ones. How much? By golly, a good 18%, 18% drop in skills. 18%. All right. And if you take that and you put it into a painfully simple model, and you put it in and you say, well, what does that look like if we spread it out over, say, 4 years? Guess what? You're going to be 1.5 to 2 years behind. I would also like to share that that 18% is probably me being very optimistic. Can't help it, okay? Probably me being overly optimistic because, remember, in Kashmir, they missed 14 weeks. In India, we're talking a good 1.5 years. Right? All right. And this was done soon after the students in India went back to, oops, I think I revealed the country. You see? My apologies. Well, now you know what one of the countries is, okay? So anyways, and by the way, the sampling was done from multiple Indian states and all of this, so yes. Now, here's the deal. What do we see? We see that these students, unfortunately, spent much more time off where they should be. So, okay. So we have evidence of a learning deficit. Then we did a second study. In the second study, we didn't really have much in the way of a pre-COVID sample, but what we could do is just do a comparison against the previously established global norms, and furthermore, we could look at what's going to happen for we could look at what's going to happen in comparison to our first study, okay, to those students. Now, here's the thing. What did we find? It turns out that the students in the second country, which shall remain nameless, were significantly outperformed by the students in the first country, the South Asian country of name and repute. Okay? Now, significantly outperformed, just like huge, huge. Okay? What is the reason for this? Well, without getting into the details of the educational system and so on, it turns out that the students from our second study happened to go back to school much, much earlier than in our first study country. Furthermore, when we took our post-COVID sample, it was a good 8-9 months later than when we did the first study. In other words, in the second country, we've had a significant amount of time to really roll forward that whole post-COVID effect, right? We can roll, they basically on the receiving end of the cramming for longer. That has to be part of the explanation. So at this point, if you ask me, do we have reason to suspect that not only will there be learning deficits after COVID, but furthermore that they are with us and will continue to grow in the future? The simple answer is yes. Yes. It would be irrational to take any other position. Okay? I wish to God I were wrong, but I was right about this. Now, what do we do? Well, obviously, this is an educationally relevant concern here, right? I mean, this is relevant for policymakers, relevant for everybody. So let's do a little bit of a study that can help lay the foundations for further work and educational chess as well. Here's what we want to do. We want to have what's called the post-COVID Global 50. I wish I had better naming, but basically all that means is we want to take a snapshot of what it looks like to be a student after COVID in at least 50 countries. And what are we looking at? We're looking at 21st century skills with a validated instrument that's validated together with the Max Planck Institute over in Berlin. It's the only such thing, it's online. The beautiful thing here is that we are now in a position to very quickly and very easily collect samples. At a minimum, here's the structure. We're looking at collecting samples from each of 50 countries, hopefully more than one sample per country, okay? Because most countries, unlike, say, Singapore, have more than one city in them, okay? Singapore's sort of the limit case. Anyways, what do we have? We want to have samples of between 30 to 100 students, between 30 and 100. And for each sample, you don't need to worry about ages so much. If you can try to get the students within a rough band of age, like plus minus a year, that would be grand, but not really necessary. Okay, but because MIRMI is age normed. In fact, the youngest person took it, it's probably around 5, right? It's really good for ages 8 or 9 and up. And the oldest person who took it, believe it or not, is here from the UK, some 92-year-old pensioner. So, well, he did pretty well, so good on him. The thing is, it's age normed, and that way you can track skill development and consolidation over a lifetime. Yeah, so we have a nice way of measuring all this stuff. So we have one tool that can do the kids as they get older. Then, what do we do? Well, the MIRMI test takes about 45 minutes. The thing that we're doing right before it, though, is we have a little simple Google form. That little Google form has the following sorts of questions. Do you play chess? Have you ever had a chess teacher or formal instructions in chess? How many years have you played chess? If you don't necessarily play chess, do you play any other strategy games? If so, how long, how many hours per week, that kind of thing. Very simple questions that allow us to identify those individuals who are going through a chess background, right? And we expect to find, and this is in working with all sorts of different providers. Some people say, well, I have no explicit chess students. Well, fine, you come be part. Well, I have only chess, well, you come be part too. We want to have the more the merrier, right? Some with, some without chess. You don't need to worry about that on your side. If you can get both, great. Now, educational partners. Here's a few things. Number one, if you participate and you collect a sample, you will be offered to be a co-author on the white paper that results from this. So have a roll call of honor. Secondly, you would be, if you want to do a little bit more study, it's very easy to move from this case to just simply wait 6 months or 1 year. Just, bless you, to do MIRMI again, 6 to 12 months later, and then you have your pre and post tests, and you can check the efficacy of intervention. And then, of course, you would be invited to be a co-author on the resultant journal article or articles that come from this. Nothing's for free in life, okay? With the help of FIDE and some other very interesting partners, we did manage to get this down so that Unfortunately, most of the money is going to Amazon, like they need it, but like it's being hosted AWS, Amazon Web Services, and the researchers. But basically, if you provide a sample, we hope you could go back to some organization and it would be on your side $500. Okay, so those providing samples, yeah, you have all the benefits, but it's $500 US. I'm sorry. Okay. Good news is we've got something like what? Last check, 25 plus groups that have already committed. A number of them have already started, right? And we hope to collect all of this data by mid-April. So that way we have everybody roughly the same time frame. Okay. Finally, just a little bit, there's MIRMI, this describes it. We'll put these slides up on the website with the kind permission of those in charge. Furthermore, you'll also find up on the website that you will see, okay, and that's what it looks like. It should be very familiar, a number of people. It's just a tessellation game. It's like Tetris, or I think Blocus was popular here. Before that, in the 60s, there was Universe and so on. So this always been this. So this basically is what it looks like. And there are obviously benefits here. You can objectively measure the impact of chess on your students. You can increase the demand for educational chess because it's a great post-COVID teaching intervention. It develops the skills and the critical thinking that the kids need. Finally, I would say that we now have a way of linking up educational questions with chess questions. Instead of being 2 steps away, you can think, everybody says, well, look, now we know that you improve your amount of, your performance so much, for instance, in mathematics or science or what have you, based upon so many hours of introduction of educational chess. Thank you very much, and please contact me here. Thank you very kindly, and I appreciate your indulgence. Thank you.
If you want to join the study, write him out or ask him right after this session. Next speaker, Tamara Sargsyan from Yerevan, from the Chess Science Institute. She's an educational psychologist, and during these last 6 years, she's been involved with looking at the impact of chess in the classroom in Armenia. She has come up with some ideas that she wants to share with you about how to improve chess in education. Thanks, Tamara.
Thank you, and hi all. Actually, I have created a great academic scientific presentation to do it today. And to prove it, I can show you just some of the diagrams I really was going to talk about. But these 3 days of the conference made me change my mind and give a kind of improvisation here, and to give some example, a real example, how it can work. So, but to start this, I would love to share 2 stories that happened with me just after arriving in London. So, when I arrived at 15th of March to Luton Airport, it took me about 2 hours trying to figure out how to get out of the airport and how to get into the conference venue. And my final decision was to get a taxi after the 2 hours. The second story that happened to me was when we were in the pub on 17th of March. We were doing a chess test. And I get about 30 seconds to look through the test. And then I choose the B strategy to fill this test. That means I didn't read any of the questions, and I tick all the B's there. And what do you think was my result? I get 10 correct answers out of 25. It's about 40%. So, how these two stories are connected and why I'm actually telling these stories here. Because both of them are about the same thing, about my skills and my competencies to deal with real life situations. So the conclusion is I am good in filling tests and I have lack of competence in spatial orientation. So a little joke here not to have problems with orientation in space here during these 4 days. You know what my strategy is? Follow Boris. Time and spatial orientation, and just following him, you can get anywhere you wish, anytime if you need it. But at the end of the day, tomorrow, I have to get to the Luton airport anyways by myself.
Wait, what time are you going?
My flight is 7:35 p.m. So, yeah, and I have to deal with it in my own. So I need this competency. So now let's go forward. Why am I telling these stories? Because nowadays education is not about knowledge, it is not about skills, it is moreover about the competences. And I have really bad news for all of us. The skills we are teaching in the classroom are not transferred into real life if we don't help our students to do this. So if we want the skills we taught in the classroom to be transferred, and lots of people have talked about this, we need to help them. But there is also a good news. Once you taught to teach needed competence, you don't need to go through all this knowledge over and over again, because the children, the students, will come up with the situations and deal with them by themselves. And now, let's do a little example here. And I would need 3 volunteers. Okay? Your name?
Alexi.
Alexi. 2 more. Yes? Abhijit. Oliver. Great, thank you. So we have Abhijit, Oliver, and Alexi. Let's imagine we have done with the chess stuff before. And now I have a little assignment for you. An easy one for chess players, actually. Imagine your knight is on the position B1, and just imagine how its journey from B1 to H8. And as soon as you're done with this, please raise your hands. The easiest way.
You can't play. Yeah, I know too. But you can go.
Oliver, are you done?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Carry on.
Okay. So I think B1 to C3 to E4 to D6 to F7 to H8. That's right. What did you think? You're a grandmaster.
Great, thank you. But
Okay,
this is
let's
not
go.
the thing. Thank you. The next assignment for you is just please find the person who is sitting the farthest from you in this room and plan your journey toward this person.
Do I have to move like a knife?
No,
Okay.
absolutely not.
Okay, so just kind of.
We are trying to generalize the knowledge we have.
Okay.
Left and right.
Can I go on a diagonal?
Yeah. You can
Do I
go.
do it right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should find the easiest way.
Is
Thank you.
that task?
I hope all of you have struggling in orientating in this building as I am. And now here is the third assignment for you. This is the card for my room. It is located on the second floor, the room 26. And on the door hand, there is a suite. So I would ask you to plan your journey there, go there, and the first of you who will get there, you will get the suite.
Where is it again?
Second floor, 26th room.
Yeah, but I'm the only one staying here, so I gotta keep it.
I don't have the key.
No, you don't need to keep.
It's on the
You see? It should open now that I have winning this. It's overconfident. Everything. I just thought you guys were smart as spread. She's finished here.
So there was, I should get there earlier to get another one. Wait a little bit. So, if I really had more time here, I will talk about the strategies they are dealing with all the assignments. How you are planning. Great. But there are three pieces. If you wish, you can share. So I will prove that collaboration is also possible to improve while doing this assignment. So if I have more time, I will ask carefully about all the methods that people are using, the strategies they are dealing with in chess situations. Then I will transfer these strategies into the classroom, and then I will transfer it into a building, and then I will transfer it into a project so children can do in their own. And after I do all these things, I will be sure my students will be able to orientate in any airport, anywhere in the world, and will find their ways. So it will show the students, their parents, how important chess is and can be. So, coming to conclusion, what is my main message to you? When you enter the classroom, first of all, think about the competencies you want to improve. Another trick I have used here, that I am not using any presentation, any tool, any technology, anything, because these all are just to help you to make your learning process more productive. But before that, you need to know what the competencies are you going to improve in this classroom. And if you're struggling to find the link between what you are teaching in the classroom and how it can be implemented in their lives, think twice, think again if this knowledge, these competencies are really needed there. And always remember that the knowledge are not, you shouldn't expect your students to transfer their knowledge into competencies by themselves. You have to do it through examples like this. Thank you.
Thank you for this experimental talk. And third speaker today in this final session is Mikhail Korenman. Originally, he's from Russia, from Voronezh, but he's been in the United States for a long time. Originally, I think, chemist in chemistry. He has now is here to share with us a very successful program for chess in prisons in Cook County. That's basically Chicago, I understand. And please, share with us, but we have more than 50 minutes.
I'll try my best. First and the most important, I really appreciate the invitation to be here today in London. It's my very first time in London, never been here. And when I told my colleagues in office that I'm going to London, they said, "Oh, you probably can meet the king in the street." I said, "No, I'm going to the prison there." And that was 3 highlights of my trip to London. It's to visit the prison in London, and instead of 2 hours, we spent 4. But that is a prison participate in our program since 2019, and a very first tournament that we did online, and they didn't have internet, but they managed to play because the people really wanted it. So they had a chess coordinator sitting in a cafe across the street, receiving the moves, calling the prison, telling the moves, and that's how they play. So they made a huge effort to participate. So we came to tell them thank you for being part of the program. Second, yesterday I had a visit by Karl Portman here in England. Karl is the author of the only one book, Chess Chess Behind the Bars. This is the only one book published on this subject. And Karl made an effort. He drove here for 3 hours, met with us for 2 hours, and drove back in 3 hours. So that's the highlight of the trip. And further to be part of this conference, and it's very interesting. I met people who I know for 20 years, Jerry, Alexis. I met the person who lives 10 minutes away from me, Jim, somewhere. We live 10 minutes apart. We haven't seen each other for years, but we met here. Very interesting. My story will be about the chess program at Cook County Jail. Before I go, I will show something today that has never been released. And I hope you understand that release the data from a correctional institution is not very easy. So first I want to answer the question that I asked in those last 3 days so many times. How in the world did you start this? And I want to follow up a wonderful Friday presentation by a respected presenter from South Africa who made this wonderful musical presentation. And she was talking about Jimmy, correct? Jimmy. And how do we know the parents of our students? I was It was my very first chess group in Chicago. And I had a group of dozen kids, and one of them was a kindergarten kid. He was shorter than table. He couldn't sit, and he didn't see the chessboard. He had to physically jump on the table to see the chessboard. The fall semester finished, and I'm telling my parent coordinator, I'll take everybody to the spring semester except this boy. I can't take him. He looked at me and said, no, you cannot do it. Why? Well, you need to go talk with the principal. I said, oh, welcome back to where I came from, right? I said, why should I go talk with the principal? And she looked at me and said, do you know who his father is? I said, I have no idea. Answering your question, do we know who the father is? I have no idea. And she said, his father is a sheriff. I was lucky enough not to know what does it mean to be a sheriff. Correct. And then she said, oh, he's a Chicago and suburb sheriff. I still did not know what sheriff mean, but Chicago and Cook County, something big. I said, fine, let him stay in the program. The boy grew up, he attended every single possible tournament we had, scholastic. And one day, the other parents from kids told me, you need to go and talk to the gentleman who's staying in that corner and read a newspaper. I said, why should I go and talk with him? I said, oh, this is the sheriff. I said, okay. So I made my appearance to the gentleman. We spent maybe 15 minutes talking about chess. And he asked me, what the benefits of chess? And we talked about it, and he said, oh, I wanted to bring the chess program to my shop. That's exactly what he said. I said, what do you mean, your shop? And he said, well, I'm running a shop in Chicago. And I keep asking, what's your shop is? And he said, well, I'm running a jail in Chicago. And I want you to start this program. And I said, all right, when do you want to start? And he said, what do you mean when? Tomorrow. Tomorrow was April 1st. Tomorrow was April 1st, 2012. This is the best day to start the program, correct? Mm. So I came to Chicago jail. For those of you who does not know, Cook County Correctional Facility, second largest in the US. It's a compound. From day one, I had officers going with me to every single class in the last 11 years. And that made my life a little easier. And they still go to every single class I'm going now. I have a backup of officers. What we have weekly classes. I have about 15 classes every week. Now, I'm the only one in the US chess bureaucrat who employed by correctional facility. I'm a full-time employee running the chess program. I'm not sure that anybody in the US, maybe other countries may have some. So I have 15 classes a week. We run the chess tournaments between the prisoners. And as our history is, before COVID, after COVID. So we started one tournament in 2019. We had 7 countries to participate online. And it was successful. But I knew we can't go further. That's maximum what we could go because we didn't have connections. We didn't know how to, it's a correctional institution. They have a little bit different goals than to promote chess program in jail. And that's how I made a proposal to FIDE. It was received and was delivered to the president, Dvorkovich. He was the president at that time too, and he jumped on it. He jumped on it and said, let's do it. We were ready to sign agreement a day before the COVID shut down everything. But my gosh, the Zoom was still existing, so the agreement was signed. And the first tournament, truly international, happens in 2021 with absolutely surprised 32 countries. 32 countries participated in the very first one. I was very interested when President Dvorkovich came and visited us in the County. He and the sheriff spent an hour, and after 1 hour, they made a decision. No, we have 32 countries now. Next year, you should have 64. Oh, beautiful. You know, that somebody making decisions, somebody needs to run the show. Well, I have a science degree in my previous life. I taught chemistry. I thought double the size is not exactly realistic. But second year on the road, in last year, we had absolutely surprised. We had 46 countries, all continents, 85 teams, 12 female teams, 12 juniors teams. It was a great event. Where we are now, we have, I'll finish with the programs and we'll go through the data. Where we now, we running the first in-person conference in May. There was a little poster on the fourth floor, and I have a few flyers, those who wants to take a little flyer home on this table. Anyone interested how to start the program in jail, we will have a full day. The compound will be open for all the participants. The sheriff will meet, our executive director of Department of Correction will make a presentation. You will be able to speak with the staff and the prisoners, inmates in our case. So we're looking forward for that day. It might be interesting. I know some of you will register for the conference. The person, now I learn we need to follow everywhere.
I'm done there, so.
And then, so that's the conference. The tournament definitely will come back. And October was chosen specifically because October 13 is officially Day of Education in Prisons. So we will stay with that framework and we'll go next year again. I want to be sure that it's very clear. This project absolutely could not exist without the FIDE support. The FIDE staff is incredible. The ladies who work, it's only one gentleman who are, and ladies who work, and I want to say, Ima, Nadia, Anya, you're wonderful. And I'll make one more statement at the end. All right, now let's go through and talk about what are the results. I'm sorry, one more sentence, very important. The little kindergarten boy, right? Who grew up, who couldn't play chess, just jump on the table. He grew up, he stayed with chess. He helped with chess. He helped to develop one very interesting project that I want to share, where inmates playing their own kids. We did it online before the COVID. We had a Skype and we had a chess camp, and it was not a regular visitation time, it was extra. After COVID, we did it in person. It was absolutely great. We gave them a chance to wear regular clothes. The kids came with mom or grandmas, whatever. They played chess. We provided food. They had a normal way of communication with their kids. Okay, that will be continuing, and thank you for Chess Kids who offer some for the kids. This is a nice quote that I found in actually Clark's book. In prison, it is just recreation to pass the time, but in life, every move is calculated. And if you play the game of life in the streets, you make it a long way. Sometimes you have to sacrifice something or someone to move forward. but in streets, there are no stalemates. That's a quote from the prison. All right. When I came as a full-time employer in 2017, I started looking at any research done on chess in prisons. None at that time. No, that's not right. One presentation was done by Grandmaster Lima from Brazil at the Kaltanovsky tournament on UTD. And the research was about the level of recidivism. In one province in Brazil, they made statistics of prisoners. The national level of recidivism in Brazil at that time was 72%. If prisoners stay with chess at least 1 year, from 72, it was dropped to 48. And if more years, it's even go down. It was huge. That was huge. But there was only one study. So I started looking what I can find in literature. Not much. So the first, what we looked, is chess helping anyhow with the level of depression, stress, and anxiety symptoms while they are in the custody. Okay? While in the custody. So we found the symptoms, and I found what the literature is giving us. And the most important will be I would strongly recommend you to look for this test. It's named DASS42. You know where this test originated? Surprise, surprise, in Britain. It's a British test, and it was validated in prison system too. So, excellent test. And this is what we found. And I have bunch of printouts with you know, I have PhD in education. I love t-test. I like compare the numbers. But here just results. What we did, we compared those who just attended the chess program with those who've been at least 1 to 3 months, those who've been 3 to 6 months, and those who've been after 6 months. Now, I think I need to mention, because not everyone in this room knows what's the difference between jail and prison. The jail population is before sentencing, prison is after sentencing. So our population, which is huge, but it's moving. We can't say that this person will be in this facility for 5 years, for 3 years. It might be 10 years, okay? So our population is a little moving. What is interesting, that the big difference, the statistically significant difference in long level of depression, anxiety, stress was between 3 to 6 months. Well, they need to be involved and just need to get some results. But after 6 months, they might start losing interest. But if they...
Just confused by the last part. If you're in for more than 6 months, your depression goes higher.
That's just what, unfortunately, that's what I have.
So this is 6 months into the chess program.
Correct.
Your depression is higher.
Yeah.
And your anxiety is higher, your stress is higher. Okay, I just want to make sure I was reading it right.
Not lower.
Say it again?
You mean lower?
That's why I was confused. You're saying
Have significantly high level of
you're saying you're more stressed if you stay in the chess program longer?
I will double check.
Okay.
I have the numbers right
Okay,
here.
I just thought that was maybe not a positive result.
Can I say, do you mean it's participants who have a significantly high level of depression and anxiety who are in the test, and then this was how that changed?
After 6 months, the level of interest in stay with programs dropping. All right, they want to change the activities after 6 months. They're not as much interested in staying.
I'm just having trouble with the
All right,
sentence.
we'll check the numbers. Now that is just a a couple months ago, the data. 721, I believe, something like that, participants. We had two groups, treatment and control. Treatment groups participated in chess, control group did not participate in chess. There were two questions. The question one, incident analysis. The incidents when they are in custody, we know that that's a big problem. The incidents while they're in custody, fights, and all of that. Can chess help with this? Okay, so this data showing, yes, it can help. Look at using force. That's a control group. That's a group that didn't have chess. But use of force 115, 429. It's a big difference. Okay. So that's one question, but yeah, I know. Last one. But I think that's, for me personally, I know not everybody agree, the level of recidivism. It's such a social problem. It's social and economic. The last number I want to show, if the person stays for 90 or 120 days, let's look at level of recidivism. It is, it's dropping. It's about, look the difference. 120 days, 20%, 10%, those who are involved with chess. It's 50% low. If they stay with chess, 50% less people going back to prisons. That is a huge social and economic effect. Now, again, this is one case, County. We will keep doing this. We'll keep running this data. We hope that we can get the data from other facilities. We need this data for any correctional facilities to help to promote the program, to show the benefits for society and economics. Thank you again for inviting. Last statement, remember, I wanted to tell the last statement to make a bridge to John. Staffing is important. Who works in a program, how works in the program, but also it is important who is leading the program. Okay? We are so fortunate, so happy that we have a person who runs this Chess for Freedom project, who has energy for all of us here together, who is as smart as all of us all together, who promoted in every single country in the world. John, I made your life easy. Thank you, Dana.
Okay, so I'll need a bit of time to go through some of those figures, I have to say, but it's pretty it would be pretty impressive if the rate of recidivism was to decrease by the amount that's been indicated. That would make a massive difference to the criminal justice system. Okay, well, thank you very much, Mikhail, and you know, well done on a fantastic project. I now will be drawing the conference nearly towards a close, but first I'd like to invite Dana Reizniece-Ozola, who is the Chief Exec of the International Chess Federation, FIDE, to just say a few words about the conference. Dana, please, would you?
John, ladies and gentlemen, it is really a great pleasure to me, on behalf of the International Chess Federation FIDE, to congratulate you with the successful completion of this great conference. I have 3 observations, 1 suggestion, and 1 promise to make at this point. So, the first observation, passion. A few days ago, I told to John that he never smiles. I somehow sensed that, okay, sometimes he laughs, but he never smiles.
Or not before.
When he was making his presentation, he was smiling. And then I understood that it's not the officials who make him smile. The real key is in the hands of the kids. And this is something that I saw in so many of you when you were presenting your projects, your initiatives. You turned into the fairies and magicians, the guardian angels of the kids. There is a lot of passion in you. Thank you for that. The second observation, it is the professionalism. So for 3 days, we've been listening to so many presentations, and there is such a good quality, starting from the philosophical debate on why chess and education is important, to the very practical experiences and suggestions and examples of your work based on experience and research and studies. I was so delighted to see that it's not superficial. It's top professionalism that was concentrated here in this conference. Thank you for that. The third observation, it is engagement. So we used really this conference not only to listen to the nice presentations, but also to meet each other. I was spending myself a lot of time in the bilateral meetings. So this is a great platform for networking, for meeting each other, for enriching yourselves and getting back home smarter with some new ideas in the head, in the heart, in the pocket to take on and use. Thank you for that. So, and then we come to the suggestions. My suggestion really is, and this is my appeal to you, dear speakers, let us reach out to other formats as well, because sometimes I had a feeling that we're trying to convince ourselves. I mean, we are the great believers in educational chess, and then we come here and we make these great, wonderful presentations. Yes, they're complementary. We can learn from the others. We can get many new things, but we are not the ones who need to be convinced, right? So I think there's such a great potential, such a good energy, such a great material that actually needs to be taken beyond the borders of the chess world. And this is something that we from FIDE would also like to support your participation in non-chess related high-end educational conferences. Use this one as the basis for your track record, as the basis for your visibility. Suggest you yourself as the speakers in the great general educational fora. The world needs to see how big the potential of chess is. Please do so. Otherwise, I learned a new concept. We are preaching to the choir. Yes. Yeah. Yes. And then one promise. FIDE has been the partner of this conference. We will be supporting this in the future as well. Thank you, John. Thank you, Jerry, Rita. Thank you, Leila, the spouse of John, and all the team of the conference, all the supporters, also ECU and Chessable, Chess Kid, others. Yes, that have been supporting this event. I think this is a wonderful initiative that improves the quantity of those engaged in educational chess, but also the quality. Our president also stated that the quantitative goals of FIDE, but what is, I think, more important, that we also concentrate on the quality. Chess and education, that's, you know, the wide spectrum in the understanding of what it is. Still, we need to promote the educational chess as we understand it. So my heartfelt thanks to you, and let us work together to reach goals others only think of. Thank you.
Right. Well, that was my closing speech. Yeah, my words were stolen. Yeah, no, it's great. Thank you very much, Dana. That was so energetic. I feel really empowered after that, actually. And I reiterate that, yeah, we're talking amongst ourselves, but we do need to engage with other educational conferences, for example, conferences and other modes, which will allow other people to understand a bit more about the use of games in education. Okay, so a few words to close. Oh, do I click this? Right, sure. All right, so how would I sum up? Well, let's look at the mission that we had in advance. Our mission is to bring together the leading lights in chess in education from around the world and provide an opportunity for attendees to be inspired and to gain new knowledge, ideas, and insights to enhance their professional growth and development. So against that mission, we must judge what's happened. So first of all, of course, I'd like to thank the sponsors, without whom this would have not been possible. So the partner sponsors were FIDE, the European Chess Union, and Chess in Schools and Communities. And I'm very grateful, and we all are, that those organisations have put their hands into their pockets and supported us. There are of course, other sponsors as well. I'd like to say too many to mention due to time. But thank you very much. You know, Chessful, ChessKid, Chess and Bridge, Get My Head Consulting, Chess Manager, Kaiser, and the English Chess Federation. So we're very grateful for the very broad range of support, which I think means that the conference probably is kind of self-sustainable going into the future. We were in a nursery with the London Chess Classic for many years, and perhaps we're now beginning to reach the toddler stage in our development. Our speakers have great expertise, as Dana said. I mean, very professional, very expert in so many different areas. It really is quite remarkable. I'm blown away by many of the speakers, very inspiring. And there were many powerful ideas. Just one example, Monika Muselik, who's professor of primary mathematics education in Vienna, she went away saying that many of the things that she learned here, she intends to look at implementing in the teaching of mathematics. So there are parallels between, you know, how do you teach games and how do you teach mathematics. So I think that's, again, another example where an idea which is formed at this conference, listening to our speakers, may be transferred into another domain. And I think that's, you know, if that were to happen, that would be wonderful. Thank you to attendees. We had about 100 registrants, and if you add in the visitors and the staff and volunteers, then we're up to about 120. Essentially, you're kind of think tank of, you know, kind of melting pot of ideas, generating lots of insights. I think one term that's often used is a community of interest. So we're a group of people that come together from time to time, and we're very pleased to see each other. Well, particularly after the COVID period. I think one thing which characterized this event perhaps more than other conferences has been the ability to socialize because we're all in one venue, and also the adjacent pub, the King's Head, I think has played its part in the success of the conference, but I don't dwell on that too much. Of course, so people have come from all over the world, from Singapore, Hong Kong, Botswana, you know, all over Europe. United States, Canada, and North London. So, you know, it's a full range of journeys there. Now, an innovation at this conference, which made us all very nervous, probably why I wasn't smiling before the event, was the fact that we decided to do some streaming. We'd give it a go. Naturally, just before the conference started, our audio-visual expert discovered he didn't have a passport to come into the country. So we were therefore in what you might call problem-solving mode. And being true chess people, we figured it out. Alexis got a call. And he's done a great job, I have to say, and you know, he has been, you know, working non-stop really to make this work, this has been done in conjunction with Etienne, who was detained in France. But curiously, for those who are interested in these things, we filmed it using Zoom, and then we've streamed it from Strasbourg in France. So it's been an elaborate setup. So although, you know, it looks like we've got these, as it were, you know, technical issues, we're doing something quite sophisticated, well beyond the, you know, the normal for this type of event.
Etienne is in Strasbourg at the moment. He can hear us. He has mentioned that you've misspelled his name, John. There is a C in Mensch. Sorry, sir. Right. He's in Strasbourg, and
I do
done a fantastic job putting everything together in Strasbourg and making a Zoom and connecting it.
And also, of course, because we're a kind of chess community, some people who are in attendance. I mean, Tiago. I mean, you can say something about it. Tiago's a mathematician and all-round genius.
Yeah, he was a lifesaver, this guy, Tiago. I'd never met him before. He's not even a chess player, really. And he just turned up and just came in and just helped out. He helped out with everything, really. Helped me getting up and running. I wouldn't have managed without him. He left me on my own today, finally. But yeah, he was amazing. There's also Thomas Lejean-Anušca, which is an extremely hard Polish name to pronounce. He also jumped in. He's also a technical expert, and he jumped in, and yeah, that was invaluable to be able to call on the expertise of other members, other contributors.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it in the future, though. You know, but I think in future we will have a much smoother arrangement. Now we've tested it out. It does mean, of course, that the event was streamed live on the FIDE YouTube channel. I haven't looked at it too much, to be honest, but it was also playing downstairs. And I don't know, sorry, upstairs. And perhaps you may have, I think, one or two people getting messages because they were being followed on YouTube. Certainly I did. My sister told me to tuck my shirt in. So I think that's, you know, an unusual consequence. So yeah, the streaming thing is probably here to stay now, and we'll have a few words with the university to make this sort of thing easier in the future. We've got these 5G antennae. Anyway, that's just technical.
5G is a new technology, and it's very asynchronous. That's what we found.
Yeah. Okay. We have we've got some extremely good photographs being taken by John yesterday and John Upham from British Chess News today, and I expect some of these photographs to be available to view on the website in due course. So look out for those. A few words on the team. Myself, Brigitte, I think you've all seen them on Layla is not to be seen, but that's audiovisual, Alexis and Etienne. Stefan Otto has been with the conference since the beginning, and Kate Cook manages our 4 NCL team, and she kindly volunteered to. So we hope to see you next year, if all goes well.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So you have to already.
Yes, good idea.